And hello world. It's Leigh Kelson here, and I am here at the Gold Coast Griffith University Hospital at the
Intelli.
Intelli HQ Artificial. What is it? Artificially or Intelligent Health
Care
Innovation Showcase.
Yes.
Long name for this event, but. And I'm here with Tim Daly, and Tim's from a company called Skin Analytics, and it's your company.
I'm one of the people that works for it.
Right,
I'm a
okay.
co-founder. Yes.
You're a co-founder, okay, and you're a WA boy, so we're just having a bit of a chat about WA. You're a West Coast Eagles supporter, which is unfortunate. We won't hold that against you. I'm a Hawks supporter, but
We've had a lot of success over the years, so you can share it around, I think.
yes, we definitely have. And as I said, it's good to see another team win this year. We get a little bit blasé, we do. But you've just done a presentation inside in the main hall. Can you tell us a little bit about Skin Analytics?
Absolutely. So we've discovered that, well, recently, every 2 minutes someone is diagnosed with melanoma, and every 10 minutes someone dies from it. So we're trying to help out with that situation by combining the use of two different technologies. A dermoscope, which is a special type of lens that lets us take a high quality image of a skin lesion, and artificial intelligence. So we're using artificial intelligence to look at these images and determine if a skin lesion is melanoma or not melanoma.
Well, so how does artificial intelligence look at these? Does it just look at lots of images, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's a special type of artificial intelligence called computer vision, and basically we have a very smart man that works for us, and that's not me, and he has designed an ensemble of algorithms that are able to break apart an image and determine for itself what features of that lesion are melanoma. And it's just incredible stuff.
So it's amazing. So what's the journey of the company? I think there's a bit of a backstory to it. So can you share that with us?
So we've actually been going for 5 years, which is an incredibly long time for a company to be considered a startup. We are based out of the United Kingdom because we came to Australia, and when we were in Australia there wasn't a lot of support for new technology to develop products like this. So we were lucky enough to speak to some people out of Cambridge University in the UK, and they were really supportive of our idea, and they kind of embraced us and nurtured us and introduced us to some really important people for what we were trying to do. So the company is based out of the UK, and we're lucky enough to be back in Queensland as part of the Hot Desk program from Advanced Queensland Initiative.
So that's like full circle. So you couldn't get initial support here, went to Cambridge in the UK, and now you're back in Queensland through the Hot Desk. So that's fantastic. And what support are you getting back here now that you've developed the technology a bit further?
It's been absolutely fantastic. So Queensland's really working hard on their startup community, and some of the work Advanced Queensland has done has really nurtured a lot of small businesses, and I think that's going to pay off for Queensland in the future. We've gotten some really interesting support from clinicians here. The World Congress for Melanoma is actually happening in Brisbane right now. So our CEO's up at that while I'm down here learning more about what's happening in Queensland Health.
Right. And so where does the solution go from here? I mean, how do you see the sort of the company evolving from here?
Okay, well, there's a lot of people doing what we do, and we're trying to differentiate ourselves by working with clinicians to build something that actually has medical value. And we're also funding our own study into whether it works or not, or the efficacy of it. So we have a clinical trial going to prove what we do works as we say it does. We're doing a health economic study so we can prove if you use a product we can save the government money, and we're engaging clinicians, so we're quite excited about where we're going.
So is it really all about early detection and sort of better outcomes for patients, or is it sort of, where's the technology fit?
Yes, so at the moment we see ourselves in helping with early detection. What we've learned this week at the World Congress for Melanoma is early detection is really one of the most important tools for helping to survive melanoma. If you catch melanoma early, the survival rates are over 97% in stage 1.
Right.
By stage 4, your 10-year prognosis is less than 10% of survival rate.
Yeah.
So we really want to help people survive melanoma by finding it earlier.
So I think one of the challenges for health companies, medical companies, is, and I founded and co-founded a biotechnology company a number of years ago called BioCell, and we were working with early adult stem cells and preservation of adult stem cells from umbilical cord blood.
Oh wow!
Which was an interesting business, but very challenging business. But one of the things I learned from that is that, you mentioned that 5 years is a long time for a startup, but really in a medical environment, in a health environment, it's not that long, is it? Because of the clinical trials and the therapeutic goods administration and all that you have to go through. How have you found that process?
Well, neither myself or the founder Neil, the CEO Neil, are actually come from a medical background. So that's kind of good for us in a lot of ways, because we've been able to engage clinicians who are really interested in what we're doing to help us design our product. But yes, 5 years is a long time for a startup, but as you said, in the medical field, it's a drop in the bucket, because like you said, clinical trials take a long time to run, and to run properly so they actually have medical value to the clinical community where they can actually trust in what you're saying is even longer term. So that's been one of the biggest costs in time and money for us, is funding these studies and then running these studies.
Yeah, so I think it's, like you say, it's a bad thing for the startup, but it's a good thing overall, because obviously, if you're doing clinical trials and you're proving up the technologies, and when it's human solutions that you're working on, you want to make sure that they work, and you've got, you've sorted out any possible side effects and things like that. And I think also the Therapeutic Goods Administration are there to sort of protect the consumers from dodgy medical science. And
could not agree with you more. There's a lot of companies out there that say that they're doing what we're doing, and what we're trying to do is actually prove ourselves to be a different kind of company by proving it medically. And it does involve people's lives. So we don't want to release a product that could have long-term damage to someone's health because we say, it's not melanoma, and it is. So we have to be mindful of that.
Yeah. So another side of it I found from my own experience was that capital was really hard to come by, particularly because of the risks associated, because of the cost of clinical trials, and also the time to market. So, a startup that's working on, say, a technology or a software as a service can sort of build it and roll it out and scale pretty quickly, whereas it's very, very different, longer return on investment periods from, say, up to 10 years. How have you found the investment community?
The investment community, it's been a really interesting journey for us, because we've taken a bit of a different strategy. We do more of a bootstrapping approach, so we haven't done one massive raise to try and get us through 5 years, because the way the technology has progressed, where we were 5 years ago to where we are now, what we're doing today wasn't actually possible in the AI world 5 years ago. So we've been lucky to have some really good investors that have been with us from the start. But yeah, we're just closing a round at the moment, so we do smaller rounds, and that has been, I think, easier for investors to put their hat in the ring, because it's a less of a financial risk for them, and it's good for us because it makes sure we stay true to what we're trying to achieve.
Well, I mean, good luck, and it's great that you've, even though you've come full circle, you've had to go to Cambridge, the UK, and then come back via the hot desk, but it says a lot for what Advanced Queensland are doing, and that's fantastic. I think it's a bit of a travesty that you had to go through that route, given that, I don't know what the numbers would be, but we'd have to be a pretty high melanoma country, wouldn't we? What are the stats in terms of that?
Per capita, Australia is the capital of the world, so we do the best melanoma. But actually, I've just seen some really interesting presentations at the World Congress for Melanoma this week that suggests that our melanoma rates are dropping off a little bit because people are slip-slop-slapping, they're seeking shade, they're being sun-smart, which is fantastic. Yeah. And the UK actually, for the first time in their history, had more melanoma diagnosed than Australia last year. So we're moving in the right direction, but it's still a big problem, and it's still something that we hope to be able to help people with.
Yep. Excellent, fantastic work, and on that note, we'll leave it there. Thanks, Tim, and all the best to you on your rest of your journey.
Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.